Donald Trump lives in a world in which he is constantly selling this notion, constantly telling these lies, constantly spreading this propaganda that there is widespread fraud in the election, and it is always by Democrats. 2020 is the obvious example of what we're talking about. You know, he started before the election in lying about voting by mail. He lied about what states were doing. He lied that ballots counted after midnight on election night were somehow some illegal dump rather than just high voter turnout, right? I mean, we all saw the lies coming. Well, I mean, some of us did. I mean, I was calling them out before the election and being told that I was an alarmist. I was saying that Donald Trump was going to try to restrict voting by mail, and I was suing in court as a lawyer to prevent that from happening. And I was being told that I was engaged in lawfare and, you know, that all of this was unnecessary. After the election, when he didn't concede, I said he is not going to concede. And in fact, he is going to escalate and escalate and escalate. And we saw that happen. And I was proud of the legal work I did for President Biden and for the Democratic Party in defeating Donald Trump more than 60 times in court. But even when that didn't stop him, I kept saying, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Look, I didn't predict a violent insurrection in the nation's capital on January 6th, but I sure as hell was saying that we need to take him literally and seriously when he says that he wants to stop the certification. He tried to stop the certification in Michigan at the county level, at the state level. He tried to stop it in Wisconsin by going to court, right? We saw frivolous recount after frivolous recount. We saw all these election lawsuits. So sure, I didn't call it exactly right, but I got it more right than most. And I am now here to tell you that we are seeing that same pattern in 2026. And just like it involves voter suppression, just like it involves litigation, just like it involves all of those other tactics that I called out then and that you regularly see me on television or on these YouTube videos or on podcasts calling out now, I am also here to tell you that it involves propaganda. And that is the thing I want to unpack today. It is one thing for Donald Trump to sue and lose. It is one thing for Republican states to enact voter laws that me and my law firm then go and challenge in court. It is one thing for Donald Trump to tell lies. But it is another for those lies to be told so often over and over and over again that people just get worn out. That he tells them so pervasively and they grow and they get more extreme and more extreme that people who are not necessarily as hardcore followers, they become confused. They become uncertain as to what the truth is. They assume that in the place between truth and falsity, there is some middle ground, that there must be something to his claims. There must be some truth to his allegations, when in fact there are none. And I've already called out the media because the media helps perpetuate that by doing this sort of both side coverage and giving people a sense that there must be some middle ground between these two. Look, I've said many times before that I do not seek compromise with the Republicans or Donald Trump on these issues because there simply is no middle ground between an arsonist, which is what Donald Trump is, and a firefighter, which is what I am. There is no way to split this difference. There is no way for me to find compromise on an issue for which there is no middle ground. And again, that's why I started Democracy Docket. And if you're not a subscriber, you should be one right now. But it is also why when I call this out on other people's podcasts or I go on Nicole Wallace's show on MSNBC, by the way, one of the best broadcasts there are, day in, day out, whether I'm on or not, Nicole Wallace does a great job. When I go on, the reason why I am talking about this so much is because it is important to point to how Donald Trump is trying to create confusion where none should exist. Did you like this video and want to watch more? Tap the link on your screen for the full version or go to youtube.com/democracydocket.